The audio design process for a new league character starts with what we call an audio one-sheet. Whether we are working on a new champion or a new skin thematic, much before starting to design in-game assets, we gather references on what that champion or thematic could be inspired to sonically. The audio one-sheet is basically a snapshot that captures the early thoughts of what a specific identity may end up sounding like. It includes things like do's and don'ts, the audio pillars, potential avenues to create a new source, whether it's Foley based or synthetic, the challenges that we expect to run into, as well as the high-ticket areas. Once a one-sheet is created and a clear audio direction is in place for this new champion or that new thematic, we move into what we call the building blocks phase. This is where, based on the direction, we begin creating those colors that will later be utilized to create in-game assets. They are basically the audio source through which we start defining the sonic identity of a character. Whether through Foley or synthesis, every time we create hundreds of gigabytes worth of audio content that will forever live in our own library to be used also down the line when that champion is recreated on a different game or media. Here is Yumi, and a tiny glimpse of what her building blocks sound like. You may have noticed that all those colors came from extensive recording sessions of all kinds of drum cymbals. Much of her sounds are in fact based on those recordings. After that, we begin a design journey that takes a champion or a skin from the early stages of temp audio through various phases, each one with a different goal and its own feedback loop, involving developers from various departments. Through this process, we ensure that the thematic is established, the gameplay is clear, and new tech and interactive audio features work as intended. Eventually, the product will land in a place that meets all those goals and that makes us confident that this new character will be positively received by our players. Here are just a few quick examples of champions and skins that have gone through this process over the past few years.
Let's end this. Crucible of anguish.
That is just a small glimpse of the sound design process that we go through. It is important, however, to remember that while all of that is happening, our voiceover designers are also hard at work. With hundreds of different voices between champions and skins, League in fact presents a tough challenge, and that is making sure that every single one of them sounds different from the others when it comes to both the personality and the voice print, to best portray the unique identity of every character in our game. There are many factors that need to be accounted for in order to deliver a new League voice to our players, and I won't go too much into detail since later there will be an entire talk just about voiceover. But for now, I limit myself to mentioning that two key responsibilities of League voiceover designers are, on the one hand, designing processing recipes that support the fantasy and storylines of our characters, but on the other hand, crafting interactive voice experiences that are unique to each character, so as to best support the game mechanics and play experience of each one.
Had to take their parts, rebuild my brain. I'll make them remember. Whole systems compromised.
need to find me? Just follow the trail of widows. Every smile is just a frown, waiting to be turned upside down. Things I'm gonna do to you. Don't go anywhere.
Anybody want a balloon animal? They'll laugh, they'll cry, they'll die.
How many words do yays have for snow? And for farts? I knew it!
Inside my circuits, I am clicking furiously.
Sometimes robots are weird.
Run to the center. Man, I am good.
Naturally, as we all know, music too plays a central role in establishing the identity of pretty much any major piece of content that we release on League. And in a few minutes, our senior composer Cole Hicks is going to dive into the world of League music. Before that, however, let's have a broad look at how music fits into the big picture and how it relates to our mission.